Hey guys, it's Shelby from Big Cat Creative, and in today's video, we are going to walk through adding a promotional pop-up to your Squarespace website. A promotional pop-up is the little box or panel that first pops up when you land on a website. It's usually used to advertise something or get people's attention focused on a new offer or a new product. So it's really great to use for things like a freebie opt-in form, a newsletter sign up, highlighting a new service, or any other important announcements or anything you want to draw attention to. There's typically always a call to action, like a button or a sign up form, and there's always an option to close out if you aren't interested. And when done well and used strategically, pop ups don't have to be annoying like they sometimes can be. They can actually be a very effective promotional tool. So let's go ahead and walk through step by step how to get your own promotional pop up on your site. First things first, make sure that you're logged into your Squarespace editor. And then to access the promotional pop up panel, you can go ahead and click the slash key on your keyboard and type in promotional pop up and then click on that option. And it will take you directly to that panel. From here, the first thing that you'll want to do is choose your pop up layout, which you can do by clicking on Change Layout up at the top of the panel on the left hand side. From here, you can go ahead and just scroll through the list of different layouts that they have. Click into each of them to see what they look like over here on the right hand side of your screen and choose whichever one fits the message that you're looking to promote. For the most part, they're all pretty similar. Some allow you to include an image, some are boxes in the middle of the screen, whereas some are smaller panels or smaller boxes. But for the most part, they all give the exact same options for information. So just go ahead and choose whichever one you like best. And then once you've chosen the layout that you like, it will say selected in the box that you've chosen. So you'll always know which layout you're using, even if you make further customizations to it. And once you're happy, be sure to click save in the top left-hand corner before navigating back into the main promotional pop-up panel. And then click save again to make sure that your layout change is fully accepted. Next, you'll move into customizing the specifics of your pop-up, starting with action. And in this tab, you'll be able to choose the ultimate goal of your pop-up. And Squarespace gives you two options. You can choose to sign up for a newsletter or click a button. Choosing sign up for a newsletter is going to allow you to add a newsletter block into your pop-up. And this allows you to collect emails from your site visitors so that they can subscribe to your newsletter. And with this option, you'll have a few further steps that you need to take, starting with customizing the button. Here, you can choose to add some placeholder text for the email address field if you'd like. You can change the text of your submit button label, so you can change this to something like subscribe or sign me up, whatever works for you. And then you can also change the disclaimer if you want to include a disclaimer, or you can completely remove that if you don't need to include one. Next up is the storage tab, and this is where you're going to choose where those collected emails will actually go. Squarespace allows you to automatically connect Squarespace email campaigns, or if you click connect other services, you can also connect directly to MailChimp or to Google Drive. If you are using any of these options, it's super easy. You'll just go ahead and click on whatever your choice is and follow the prompts to connect. If you aren't using one of the options here as your email marketing platform, you have a few different options. You can go a little bit more advanced by using code injection through your chosen platform. So you can create a pop-up in that platform and then add it into Squarespace using code injection. That's something that you're going to have to look into on your chosen platform to see what their steps are for creating that pop-up and connecting it. You can also use Zapier, which is an integration service that allows you to connect platforms that normally don't connect. In that case, you could go ahead and choose Google Drive, collect all of the information that you'd like, and then use Zapier to connect it to your preferred email platform. Or if you aren't a fan of either of those options, you can go ahead and just use the click a button option, which we'll talk about next. Moving on to the verification tab, you can go ahead and choose whether or not you want to add a verification for people who subscribe to your newsletter. And you can do that via an email confirmation or by turning on Google reCAPTCHA. And then finally, you'll go ahead and customize your post submit message. And this is just what's going to pop up once someone has submitted their information. So you can click in this text box here and add your customized message. And you can also go a bit more advanced if you'd like and add some HTML to customize things further. Now, if you don't want to add a newsletter sign-up form to your pop-up, or if you're using a different email platform that isn't included here, you can go ahead and choose the click a button option, which is going to allow you to add up to 2 buttons into your pop-up. So to add your buttons, you'll first want to click into this link label box here and add the text for your button. And then you can click over here on the right-hand side and add in your URL by simply pasting it, or you can click on the little cog settings icon to open this larger link editor window, which is very similar to adding links on your website regularly. So if you've done that or if you're familiar with that, then you'll be super familiar with this. You can either link to an email address, a different web address, a file if you want to allow people to download a file. You can link to a different page on your website, and you can even link to a telephone number. So you can go ahead and choose whichever link you'd like here and then close out of that window. And then if you'd like to add a second button, just go ahead and follow the same steps for that, and you'll have 2 buttons over here in your pop-up. And this is where you can go ahead and add that subscription button for people to sign up to your newsletter if you don't want to or aren't able to use the sign up for a newsletter option. We recommend just adding a simple subscribe button and then linking out to your newsletter sign up form, which you can do by linking to a page on your website that has your form, or you can also link to a separate landing page that houses your form. Sometimes other email marketing platforms will offer an option like that where you can create a link that leads to your sign up form. So you can just go ahead and paste that in here if that's the case. And of course, no matter which option you choose, after you're done adding in all of your information, be sure to click save before moving on. Next up is the content tab. And this is where you're going to determine your pop-up's headline and body text. So this is really simple here. Just click into the various text boxes and add your headline and your body text. And make sure just to keep things short and to the point. Tell people exactly what they're getting or where they're going to be going if they click on the button. But remember that you don't have that much time to catch their attention. So you want to make sure that things are clear and concise so that you don't lose them. A good headline would be something like join our mailing list or grab our freebie, something that is attractive and enticing and that allows them to know exactly what it is that they're going to be getting. And for your body text, just add a little sentence or two explaining what they will get if they click the button or sign up for the newsletter. Something like that. And then, of course, click save. Next up, we have the display and timing tab. And this is where you'll be able to control when and how frequently the pop-up appears. Under Pages, you can choose to display your pop-up on any first page that's accessed by the visitor or only on specific pages of your website. If you choose only certain pages, you'll then get this other drop-down option to select the pages that you want the pop-up to appear on. You are able to select multiple pages here. However, the pop-up is only going to show up on the first page that the visitor accesses out of those specified pages. That definitely helps to avoid things being annoying because the pop-up isn't going to show up for them on every single page that they visit. Under timing, you can choose to show the pop-up on a timer, on a scroll down the page, or on a combination of both. And depending on which one you choose, there will be options to set the amount of time in seconds or the percentage of scroll down the page. There's not really a perfect solution here, but we would generally recommend not showing the pop-up too soon. If the visitor lands on your website and the pop-up comes up before they even get a chance to glance at the page that they were wanting to see, they're probably just going to immediately close out of the pop-up and not even bother with what's on there. So whether you choose to give them a little bit of time or a little bit of space to scroll on the page before the pop-up shows up, that's going to give them a chance to view a bit of your content and start reading the page, which might warm them up to be a bit more receptive to the information that's on that pop-up. Frequency is going to allow you to choose what happens after a visitor has already been shown the pop-up once. So you can choose to have the pop-up show again in 30 days, the next day, in a week, in 2 weeks, never, whatever you want, that is totally up to you and your business. You can also choose whether or not you want the pop-up to show up again after someone has signed up for your newsletter, or whether or not you want the pop-up to show on mobile. And then finally, the reset option at the very bottom will allow you to show the pop-up again to all visitors the next time they come to your site, regardless of whether or not they've seen it before, which could be really helpful for when you've created a new pop-up or if you just want to give an extra push to an existing offer. Next down the line is the image tab. And this is where you're going to go ahead and add your image if you chose a layout option that includes an image block. To add your image, just go ahead and click in this area that says Add Images, or you can also drag an image into this box. You can then choose to upload an image from your computer or click on Search Images and choose an image from your existing library or choose a stock image. And once you've made your choice, click Add, and that's going to go ahead and populate over here on the left-hand side as well as directly into your pop-up. Squarespace is automatically going to crop and position your image to fit into the layout that you've chosen. But if you're not happy with how it looks, you can always change the focal point by hovering over the image over here in the left-hand side and using this little image focal point circle to click and drag the image to have a different central point. Some layouts also allow you to include multiple images, in which case you can just click Add Images again and add more images. And if you don't include any images here, it will instead trigger a background color, which you can go ahead and customize in the Style Customization tab. Which leads us to the final thing that you'll be able to customize, which is the Style section. And this is where you'll be able to change all of the style settings for your pop-up, like colors, fonts, and also the mobile design. Editing within this style panel should be very familiar because it's essentially the exact same thing as customizing your website site styles. So you can go ahead and work your way down the list and make tweaks until you're happy with how things look. You can customize the font of elements like your headline and your body text. You can change the color of the background behind your text and your button elements by clicking on the little color dot and choosing a color from the color picker or entering in your own unique hex code. You can customize the overlay of your image. You can customize further settings for your button. You can change the layout from stacked to inline. You can customize the font for your button uniquely. You can change the style of your button, the shape of your button, and also the color of your button. If you have a newsletter block, you can change some of the font and color options here. You can change the style of the close button, which is the little close out option at the top right-hand corner of your pop-up box, and lots of other great things. You can also further adjust settings like padding, width, and height by enabling the overlay design settings, which you can do by just simply clicking where it says disabled and instead choosing enabled. And you'll then be given all of these different customization options. Here, you'll be able to change the alignment of your content between left and center. You can change the width of your actual box, the vertical padding, the horizontal padding, the spacing of your headline, and the spacing of your action items. Here, you can also choose to give your promotional pop-up a border and change the color and the border width if that is something that you want. And then if you'd like, you'll also be able to customize your mobile design settings here in this style panel. By nature, the mobile design settings are set to enabled, but if you didn't want to have to deal with making further customizations and you just wanted your mobile pop-up to take on the same settings as your desktop, you can just go ahead and click the drop down here and disable all of these customized options. If you did want to customize your mobile settings uniquely, it's a good idea to view your screen in mobile while you're working on them, which you can do in Squarespace 7.1 by clicking on the little mobile view icon in the top right-hand corner, and that is going to show your mobile pop-up right here. And if you're using version 7.0, you can view your mobile view by clicking on this bar at the very top of your screen and then choosing the mobile phone icon. And you'll then be able to see your mobile pop-up right here. You'll definitely notice that the mobile pop-up looks a lot different from the desktop pop-up, and this is done intentionally on Squarespace's part because they consider all of the best practices when designing for mobile view. It's really important that the pop-up is smaller and unobtrusive on mobile so that it's easy for visitors to exit out of, and you're not going to lose site visitors left and right because it's confusing and they can't figure out how to navigate away from it. So because of that, things are a little bit smaller and a little bit more basic, but you can use some of these mobile specifications to make it just a little bit more unique. You can change the color behind the text so that it's not just a simple plain white box. You can customize the headline font. So if you want to make things a little bit bolder, or if you want to make the size a little bit bigger so that it's more noticeable on the smaller screen, you can go ahead and do that here. And you can do the same to the body font as well. You can also change the color for both of those fonts. And you can also customize the button font as well. So you can make that a little bit bolder or a little bit bigger, whatever works for you. And finally, you can customize the button color as well if you'd like. You'll definitely want to take some time in this style panel to make sure that you are fully happy with all of your customizations and with how everything looks. And then once you are happy, again, be sure to click save before moving on to make sure that all of those beautiful customizations don't disappear on you. And then the very last, but obviously most important step is to actually make your new pop-up live. And you can do this by toggling on the display pop-up option at the very top of your promotional pop-up panel. Once you've done that and clicked save, you have then got yourself a beautiful and functional promotional pop-up that is going to show up for all of the visitors that land on your website. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful and got you thinking of all the ways that you can use a pop-up on your website. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to follow along and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post videos every single week, and I'll see you in the next one.